Ghost, welcome to Kensington Conversation Podcast. It's all about student life.
Sanbonani Dumelang, hello, Absheni good people. Welcome to CC Podcast Student Life, a space filled with entertainment, enthusiasm, raw talent, true passion, and bigger ambition. You name it, we got it. Meet the most amazing, eyeful, fine like wine, and sparkling personality, our very own, of its kind, our host, Karabo, aka The Ghost. Alongside with who? JD. Take our time, crack a snack, I make kip and some sip, some more fire, and you feel the heat as we coming in.
Hey, what's up, good people? This is your boy Ghost. Welcome to another special edition of Kensington Conversation Podcast. I'm your fucking host, and of course, we do this every Friday, né?
Yeah, every Friday, guys. It's just last week was Easter weekend, you know, most of us.
Yeah, obviously I got my co-host with me. How are you doing, Jade?
Hi, KB. Hi, guys. I am doing good. Thank you for asking.
D'accord.
Yes.
You know what I like about this episode?
Why?
You know, it's almost time for elections.
Yeah, brother.
It's almost time for elections.
EFF.
And today is a very special episode. We got a guy from EFF, a guy from the Falling Sky. A guy from Damelin. So welcome, guys. Yeah, President of Damelin. So welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming through. It really means a lot. So let's kick start. I wanna start with you. What do you do with EFF?
Thank you very much, Ghost and Jade.
Yeah, thank you. First person to say it right, yeah?
Thank you very much also to everyone, the President of Damelin, for the opportunity. My name is Mangaliso and I am the National EFF Youth and Students Mobilization Committee.
Woo!
Thank you. That's where we clap. Black people winning, eh?
I am really?
We're winning.
Yeah. So, well, what I basically do is to speak to young people. We have exactly 56 days to go before the national and provincial elections take place on the 29th of May. My duty, or our duty as a committee, is to speak and to lobby as many registered young people to vote for the EFF. Voting for the EFF means that young people should vote for the change in the ownership patterns of the land in South Africa. They should vote for the change in the ownership patterns of the banks and all financial sectors. They should vote for the change in the ownership patterns of all the mineral resources that are found both on the land, in the ocean as well. So in the EFF, we as younger people are unashamed as well about our fight for free and quality education. And we are here as well today at this I think catastrophic time for students of Damelin, because we know exactly very well what is the meaning of an education that is uncertain to young people, and we wouldn't sit at home and only focus on elections when we can see that the future of many bright young people is at stake, not because they are not qualifying enough or not because they are lazy, but simply because there was a mismanagement from the executives of the college. So if the college is failing to manage their own affairs, we believe that as young people who are capable enough to take it upon our hands to try and fix this mess, because at the end of the day it's our future and it's our parents that are paying, because you guys are paying
A lot of money,
Baba. Of which I don't think it should be the case as well, that you guys should be paying such ridiculous amounts of money, whereas the guys cannot even put forward the financial statements of the monies that you spend here, because they should be able enough to say that if a student A is paying this certain amount, what are they paying for the services that they're giving you? What are they paying for in terms of the education that they're giving you? What are they paying for in terms of the certificate thereafter? It shouldn't be questioned. In fact, your qualification shouldn't be questioned when we are already paying for it. And as the EFF, what we're here to do as well is to make sure that the institution itself does not go down with your confidence.
Thank you.
Danko.
As definitely.
So Sbu, I want to come to you. I don't know how long you've been the president of the school, but I want us to go back to like the history of Damelin before these people bought it, right? Do you think those people before they did good with Damelin, these are the ones who fucked it up?
But to be honest, let's look at Damelin like 10 years before. Even when you can search on a state as a student, before you go to any college, you also make your own research and stuff. You'll see that even on those private colleges, Damelin was named as the toppest. Even those who are, there are colleges maybe in Cape Town. Usually when we talk about education and the best education, it's mostly found in Cape Town. But Damelin was the only college here in Gauteng that was fighting with those colleges. For me, I think the change happened when, you know Damelin is a business and it's a private institution. So there will be times whereby there's change of ownership. And some people might not have the same purpose or the same aim as the previous owners. So they had their own goals and their own structures. But somewhere along the way, because when they started, things were okay. I won't say they were perfect, but things were okay. But somewhere along the way, there was a mismanagement, or let's say a loss of goals and aim and vision. Because if you can see what's happening now, it's not something that happened yesterday or last week, but it's something that has been upcoming. It was building itself. Now we find ourselves in a situation whereby it's not easy to say, no, guys, we can fix this in a week, we can fix this in a month, because it's not something that was done yesterday or was done last year. It's been years and it's been building up.
But don't you think maybe the previous owners of Damelin sold it over because they saw the business is failing?
With that, I wouldn't say yes or no, but sometimes let's look at the facts. All those issues that are raised now currently, it's issues that have happened under the new management. Remember, the old management financial statements were always handed in. There was nothing of financial statements that were not handed into the government and stuff. Lectures were always been paid. There was
so
like,
lectures are not getting paid now.
No, listen, I never say. Let's look. Everything I will say, it's out there and it's on the media. Everyone knows about it. Now there's been allegations of lectures not being paid. There's been allegations of lectures not coming to school and stuff. All this happened under the new management.
Right.
I'm not saying the old management was perfect and stuff, but they had their own flaws. Remember, when there's in a business, there's those top higher ends like shareholders and stuff. Those are the people who deals with major issues such as like funds and stuff. They knew what they were doing. We wouldn't know what is happening because it couldn't affect us directly as students. But now it has come down to a point whereby it's also affecting us. And what's mostly, I won't say embarrassing, but it becomes a problem to us, or it's frustrating because we're not getting answers. The only thing I would get, even more students during the week, they will tell me that we're getting calls about when am I going to pay my next school fees. Already watching news, or maybe you're reading an article, they're telling you that Damelin is no longer there and stuff, but Damelin is still calling you to pay your fees. There's no statement that has been released. It's almost 14 days, remember. So I'm not sure if they're waiting for that first is the end of the day, or maybe that due date to say on this day, maybe it's our last day, we'll release a statement. But for them to even wait for that long, it shows that there's something tricky and there's something dodgy in there. Remember, if you've done something, if you've done nothing wrong, or maybe you know what you're doing, there might be a problem, but you'll be the first one to rise and say, no, guys, we know what's happening, but we're working on it. But once you step back and you be quiet, it becomes tricky in a way that it's already suspicious about them, that maybe Damelin is closed. You might not know. Remember, this is a huge institution. There's Educo on top of Damelin. This is just a child of Educo. So if the management there, the top management hasn't released anything, remember it's their name. They must also think about their name, their reputation. So once they are trying to hide such things, it becomes a problem to us also as students.
Because like as students, what if we do pay our fees? How do we know a few months down the line it's not going to go all in down the dungeon?
You see, because it's not guaranteed.
We don't know.
Don't take us seriously.
Alright.
No.
Wow, you have a question already?
No question. I'm already.
Okay.
I've been ready for this for 2 weeks now. So I thought I was going to fight with him. But it seems like he's on our side. I thought I was going to fight. I thought I was going to fight, man. But it seems like he has the same feelings that we do, as he's a student here as well. So that fees thing. So I understand, man. Okay. When they say, and the department has also issued out a statement where they say that students that are already registered, no more new students, but students that are already registered and they're going to finish between the time when they're going to face it out, are going to get their qualifications. That's not my issue. You know, the qualification comes from, I forgot what the name is.
This is
yeah, it comes from there. So that's what's going to be on my B copy.
Exactly.
Right? The issue comes in when I have to present my CV to someone and I have to put in where I did my tertiary and that name, Damelin, comes in. That's where the biggest issue is. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that wherever I apply for a job, you're going to look at that and say, Damelin? They're not even say Damelin.
They give me, they make me be a cleaner. I'm getting.
You know what I mean?
But it gets back
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I hear a point. It gets back to that. Some of the students were asking me on those previous weeks that what happens now? Will I be employed and stuff? What happens to the name of Damelin? Remember something. Also, I might be a president or an SRC president, but I'm also a student. I'm also building my future that next year I might go and find a job and stuff. I'm also worried about those same concerns that they're raising because I cannot stand here or sit here and lie and tell people that no, don't worry, that's just a name, they don't mind Damelin and stuff. I'm also worried, I don't know what to answer and what to say. Because remember, with everything I tell the student and everything I do from the student, I'm just the middle guy. Whatever I get from the student, I pass it to the management. Whatever I get to the management, I get it from I pass it to the students. And currently, I haven't received any news, anything.
Yeah, to the president.
You see, we've been leading.
Okay, I have a question for the president, our president. So, since you are our president, you are our voice, right?
Yes.
And as the students, we don't know anything. The manager or whoever, we never had a report, as you were saying, that they never issued like any report on telling us, okay, this is what is going to happen, this is going to happen, or what's not, you should do this, don't do that. We haven't. So as our president, did you try to go and get the report for us? I'm trying to, did you go there and talk for us and tell that the students are waiting for answers? Did you?
No, I was sleeping. I'm joking. I did go, like, honestly, on my side, not only me, even with my team. We have been trying, there's even emails for some students. Some students saying, no, you're lying and stuff. I even showed them the emails that I sent. We sent emails, we had calls, but remember, as much as we can try to get information, if it's not given, there's nothing we can give you. Because remember, this is not only I'm not only fighting for you only, but I'm fighting for myself also as a student. So I cannot just sit and say, no, I will see, let them suffer. I'm also suffering as an individual because remember at the end of the day, my parents are paying, they want results, they want to know about my future, where do I stand. So I'm also trying, and remember, the only person I can say that I have a direct contact to is the general manager. So whenever we speak, she will tell me that, no, I'm also waiting for directives from the top. So you see, this, as I said, Damelin is only, it's a drop in the ocean because remember, this is a huge organization.
Yeah.
Educo it's a big company, yeah, it's a big structure. So we're down there. So whatever they release or they say, it must come from the top. Because remember, it's easy for them to come to you and say, don't worry, everything is sorted. And tomorrow you wake up and Educo releases a statement that Educo is closed. We have decided to sell our shares or anything or something like that. So for them to release anything, I think, I'm not talking for them, but the way I've observed the situation is that they're waiting for that money, for that response from the top. That's the only problem.
Right. So that's why we have EFF. You guys are more experienced. You know how to deal with this. How do you see this situation? Can it be fixed?
But as EFF, like as you as mentioned, you said that as the EFF, you'll empower the youth and that you'll stand in with the students of Damelin. So what strategy do you guys have in place to help us Damelin students if push comes to shove? Why would our vote count if you are not gonna really help us?
And where the hell are you guys getting the NHS? It's too much. It's too much.
The energy to help people. Don't get that wrong, man.
Yeah.
Don't forget that situation. I don't remember how many years ago. I think I was still in high school. That happened. COVID. It must fall. Fees must fall. The reason the fees fell was because so that's the only reason I still have hope. I was gonna leave. Yeah. The reason I still have hope was because of that situation.
Yeah,
where I saw that.
Please start burning tires.
No. Don't burn tires. Don't burn tires.
Aren't you scared,
scared? EFF.
Do you feel obligated to represent students that go to private sector? I mean, that's like, hey, private sector, you could get arrested anytime, like.
No, thank you very much again. To start off from the top, we are not scared of anyone or any situation.
I heard from TikTok.
Yeah, and also it's not that maybe the private institutions are isolated from societal challenges. They are not. All of us, whether we're in public or in private institutions, we're facing almost a similar situation with this government, that education is being commodified. Education is at the hands of those who are pushing for maximum profit rather than quality education. So we do not think that there is a difference between private colleges and public colleges, because if I can tell you now, a secret is that Blade Zimande, in as much as he came harsh against EDUCO and Damelin and other institutions that are under EDUCO, they themselves, as the Department of Education, have been failing to maintain infrastructures of other colleges within the country. They have been forced to close other colleges that used to house a lot of students. Just right here in Crown Mines, they closed the campus 2 years back, and they took those students to Smith campus to crowd them here at Smith campus, and now they are all at Smith campus, but the resources and the campus itself was never designed to accommodate all of those students. So even he, Blade, knows very well that the emergence of private institutions was based on their failure to build enough institutions post-democracy that will accommodate the number of students that they, as a department, have been taking to primary school, to high school, and then to matric. Where do they think that all of those students are going to go after matriculating if they don't prepare enough space for them after matric? Now, what that then happens is that it gives space for private colleges to thrive, because young people are hungry for education. Now, when the private education sector is thriving, obviously those who are driven by profit are going to want to buy into that education business. The other institutions like Rosebank, if you have noticed, Investec, one of the biggest investment company, has invested in private education. They've invested in buying Rosebank as a college. The same thing is probably going to happen here. I think the question was about also how does the EFF intend to assist in this situation. The trend that we've seen is that when the institutions collapse, because under EDUCO there was also Luciam, City Varsity, which was just next door your campus up here. In as much as Blade Zimande announced that it is being registered this year, but as a matter of fact, it started decapitating from last year. There are students who dropped out middle of the year because there was completely nothing going on there in terms of education. Yes, the facility was there, but when they had to do their media, there was no cameras like you guys here have cameras, have a studio. They didn't have a studio.
These are mine. These are our cameras. They don't have shit here.
So it was like that. City Varsity, students had paid. Now they've been texting, they've been calling, they're looking for their refunds. When they went there to the campus, they find the funny thing is that, Jade, when they went there, they thought they still have a campus, only to find a sign that says building closed for fumigation.
How? Fumigation?
Fumigation.
Is that what they said?
That's what they say.
Wow.
Next week it was all neutral, bro.
Until the students find out through the media announcement by Blade that actually the college has been deregistered. So our approach as the EFF, firstly, is that we have not been ashamed to say that there are a lot of bogus private colleges. We know of them.
100%, yeah.
There are a lot of chance takers. There's some that pop up only in January, where there used to be clubs. The next thing, there's a Gauteng college there.
Your father owns one, eh?
They went.
So one of our first approach to the situation is that we have seen Damelin investing in the infrastructure of their campuses. We cannot let it go into waste. Number one, ours is to make sure that the education of the students who are registered there is saved. Academic year is saved. Secondly is that, of which it is an approach that we're taking to Parliament, to say that the government has the powers, like they have done with campuses. There are some campuses that were once owned by private colleges and then they were absorbed by universities at some point, like Education Campus of Wits in Parktown, Doronfontein Campus of UJ. It didn't used to be UJ. So why is the government not doing the same thing? The private sector is currently, and I'm not going to shy away from this, I've seen this since coming here. I can tell you now that Damelin or EduCo seems like they are in dire financial issues. And only government can bail them out of these financial issues. And these financial issues call for us to also check the administration, how has it been going? Audit those accounts. What has been happening with the money? Because currently, Damelin has even resolved to, measures that I think it would be unfair for me to mention them here. But we all know how all of a sudden laptops and computers got missing.
Now you're going too far.
I don't want to get into those much details, but I think ours as the EFF, number one, as biggest student representative council of students in the country, we sit in an organization called SAUS, which is a South African Union of Students. We also sit in an organization called SAFENZA, which represents TVET colleges. And both these organizations have the liberty of sitting in the Council of Education in Parliament to give Parliament updates on what is happening on campuses on a daily basis. And we should, as students of Damelin, be able to say that, let that opportunity be used to say that, can't government intervene in saving this campus, in saving the careers of the students, in saving the certificate of the students? Because as things stand, we have not received any communique from EduCo as to what is the way forward. We have not received a response even from the other institutions individually, not even under an EduCo as a whole, but individually as managed campuses of their own. We have not received what is the plan of saving the year from Damelin. We have not received from Luciam. There's been nothing. City Varsity has been closed anyway for some time. So the only way that we can intervene in this is if government must not be reckless and be quick in closing down campuses,
because
whilst they are not quick in opening other doors for young people to start.
Okay, they should have, see, can I add on to that? Do you know what I think? I'm not trying to point hands at it because I'm a president and stuff, but as the government, why be quick to close a college if you don't have any solutions? It's like what Blaine Zimande said. He said they made in this territory start a week before. Then students were panicking. Some students even wanted to commit suicide because of what he said. The following week, he comes back again and say, no, all the students that have registered under Damelin, don't worry, we still recognize you, you're still credited and stuff. Why shouldn't all? So it shows that it was an emergency statement, like it was in a hurry just to disrupt everything. Come up with solutions as the minister. Say Damelin is closing down because of this and this and this and this, and as the government we have decided to close them down, but we have solutions for students. They can go year and year and year for the year, because already it's the middle of the year. It was simple if it was December, or it was maybe we're done with our exams, then you can make maybe solutions or maybe have options for next year. But just today you're writing your exams, when you get at home they're telling you that the school is closed down. What happens to that exam? There was no any solution. It was just him announcing that, and it was so hard. Because let's be example. It's not the first college to be closed down by the government. There were other colleges, and there were notices. And usually, do you know what they call? There's a notice sent to the school, and usually they go and sit down. Some things, you, as a student, to be honest, you're not supposed to hear from the government directly, but from your school. If that letter was sent to Damelin that you guys have been registered, I'm not saying they were going to be open with us, but they were going to put contingencies in plan that, okay, because of we are closing down, let's try and fix this before it gets out. Yeah. Because remember, it's a business, they are trying to shield it and they are trying to fix their mistake. Yeah. But now, because of what the government has done, they have went ahead and take a big hole. And now it's too big to close. Because remember, even if the school can have a solution now, but already the name is tarnished. Let's forget about it. They can have do you know what we were even saying with my colleagues last week, that the better option to do for everyone is to change the name.
Change the name.
Damelin, everyone, remember.
Now you know you lost.
It becomes a solution in a way that.
Wait.
Nah, bro. If you change your name, look, Damelin has a reputation, right?
Yeah.
Things are happening right now. Yes. But if everything can pick up again and everything starts going well again, right? We're already at the top again.
Let me make you an example.
If you change the name, listen, if you change the name, bro, you have to start from the bottom again. There's a lot of other colleges that you have to climb. You feel me?
Starting from the bottom.
If you change your name, doesn't mean that you change your reputation.
Do you know why I'm saying so? Let's look at, I'll name 2 colleges, private colleges. Let's look at Rosebank College. Rosebank College, you remember, was struggling before it was bought. It was struggling, students were not getting their marks and stuff. There was these funds problems and stuff. It was never tarnished to the way that it went to news. It only went to cutting edge.
Do you know the only reason why Rosebank College is about us?
Yeah.
Do you know why the only reason why Rosebank College is about us? Do you know IIE?
Yeah.
Do you know Varsity College?
Yes.
Do you know Vega?
Yes.
So
there's also Monash, there's a lot. But remember,
so Rosebank College.
Yeah, guys,
Rosebank College.
Rosebank is not closing. Damelin is closing.
But listen, we're using it as an example. Rosebank College is part of these institutions that are already credited that are above us.
Yeah.
Damelin is the small fish compared to EII. And don't lose it.
Guys, let me educate you about something. Let me educate. No, listen. Search it on your phone. When it comes to IIE, when was IIE established?
I don't know.
20 something.
When was the name IIE?
To Educo.
Yeah, when was IIE established?
Educo.
Do you know when Educo was established?
I don't know.
It's been here for years.
Yeah, it's a mafia business.
Let's come back.
Check the facts straight. I will come back after the talk and I'll show you something.
Don't do that, Spoon.
You guys can do that private. Yeah. So when I come to you, right, Damelin, it's a huge thing, right? So we also have like international students. So do you guys consider them, or you just looking for SD students, only for SD students?
Good question.
Okay, so I think with the argument that was just happening now, Damelin is one of the oldest private education providers in the country. I think it dates as far back as 1959 or 60. It's been here, it's been one of the most consistent institution, and yes, I agree with comrades that the reputation of the institution is in the mud currently. And not only is the reputation of the institution in the mud, but also it is the reputation of the qualification that you obtained from the institution. Whether you were here 10 years ago or you're going to be here this year, the reputation, because even if, I'm not sure if you guys followed the vile tweets that were being shared on Twitter. The stupid jokes about where you study, or you studied by that fly-by-night called Damelin, and already the damage has been made. The damage is huge, to an extent that even the confidence of qualification holders from the institution has dropped, and that is something that it will not take a month to fix. It is something that will call for both the qualification providers like SAICA and the education minister to reconfigure the confidence of the students within the institution and outside of the institution about their qualifications and the name Damelin. But to come back to your question again, with those students who are international and are using visas to be here, and their countries rely on their registration in the country or in the institution for them to be granted the visas. I think one of the things that was communicated by Blade after the reckless statement was that if you are registered this year and you have to complete the academic year, you should complete it. They will allow Damelin to complete the academic year. So I think that also should mean that the embassies that give visas to these students that are registered here should consider that the students are registered this year, therefore they should be allowed to continue. And visas, either way, they are study visas are a yearly thing. They are not permanent. So after this year, if you complete, then you have to apply for another visa the following year, and you have to prove that you are registered or that you are accepted to a certain institution. So I think it gives them enough time to be in the country and to be in the institution without any scrutiny. But I think the president highlighted the fact that Blade Nzimande was reckless. He made a hullabaloo of the pronunciation to deregister the institutions. But when he had to come to cover up and say, no, you will continue your classes as normal, he was not as loud as he was when he said the college has been deregistered. Which I think is
would you say it's ANC influence?
Well, I wouldn't.
Of course.
Can I comment on that? Forgetting about ANC, but let's look at all our political parties. They are known for their own characters. For example, when you was talking, when you said we know the EFF, they are not scared of anything and stuff. It's their slogan. We know that's the EFF. But with ANC, it's always been the problem of their ministers talking things because of the heat or the rush around them, then coming back to turn back on their own statements. Forget about Blade, let's focus on Freedom. But every time, whenever he says something, he has to come back on his own statements. It shows with even our own government, whatever they've been promising us, they're not sure about it. They are also confusing them that you cannot be as a leader. Being a minister is like being a leader, it's a position on its own. You must stand for what you say. You cannot say this today, then come back and turn back on your words. How should we trust you as individuals? And for the fact that there was announcement around medias, like to notice that there's going to be a release of a media regarding Damelin when we were shutting down. But when he had to come back and tell the students about that, it was only a statement that it was made coming out of somewhere else.
100%.
So you see.
So speaking of politics, right? Do you think EFF is ready to lead this country national?
So. Do you think?
Wait. Let him speak.
Let him cook. Let him think, man.
He's cooking.
So let me go straight into it because without any doubt we are ready. I don't have to think about it. We are ready. The EFF is government in waiting, and the readiness of the EFF is not a sloganeering or a campaign, but the readiness of the EFF is backed up by the fact that we have in the ranks of our leadership, our membership, who have qualified members who the EFF has been pushing that they go back to school. Those who do not have any post-matric qualification, the EFF has been pushing that those who don't have matric should go and finish up their matric. The EFF has been pushing that those who are in any level of governance, be it local government as councillors or as MMCs, because we have MMCs that have been in governance at least for a year and a half now. I don't know if you are following our Ekurhuleni MMC of Finance, who's also the chairperson of the EFF in Gauteng, who has been one of the first MMC of Finance to record a clean audit since the EFF took over
what's his name?
Of Finance, Kululeko Tunga. Yes.
There was a recent speech by Malema. He said he will give 50% of the votes to ANC if they let, I don't know, this guy, man. He's in finance. If that guy can
President Floyd Shivambu.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
So, remember, the ANC young people have declared that they will not vote back the ANC into power.
Of course.
Yeah.
So the ANC is bound to fall below 50%, and majority of the parties, your EFF as the third biggest party, are going to increase and are going to be at the doorstep of governance.
Of course, after this episode, you guys are gone.
You guys are gone. So if we do not win, we are going to be in coalition politics. And the EFF, the comrade president, made it clear, even in the previous coalition talks or discussions we had with the ANC and other parties, the EFF does not enter into a coalition agreement without putting clearly to the country and its voters and its membership the demands. And one of the demands that we're going to put, if the ANC is gonna be in a good position to discuss coalition politics with us, we're demanding the Minister of Finance, because it is a strategic position in the country. And we have seen before that the ANC cannot be trusted once again with the coffers of the country. However, we've seen that with the EFF, wherever they have managed finances in governance locally or provincially, they have had clean audits in their financial documents. So the EFF president's announcement on Minister of Finance is not misguided. It is based on the fact that the EFF is the only one that can run a clean and corrupt-free financial department of the country.
That's good. So I have a question. It's a bit
Crazy.
yeah, something like that. So as a colored child.
Tango, let's get
in my
it.
youth-
Let's get it, my dog.
As a colored child in my youth, I am under the impression that EFF only provides opportunities for black people. I am under that impression. So how do I know as a colored child my future is promised by voting for EFF? Because there's not just me, there's many others like me saying they won't vote for EFF because they focus more on the black people than the coloreds and the whites.
Okay. So the colored question is the colored question is a very old question that the forefathers of the South African Revolution, like Steve Bantu Biko, explained very well that the colored people are black people.
Okay, yeah.
The colored people are being politically used by white people to divide us as a nation. And not only are they using the colored people through excluding them from jobs or excluding them from opportunities, but the colored people have been excluded even from arable lands. They've been excluded from being part of the government system of the country. They've been excluded sharply even from the education system. In the apartheid eras, the colored people were only allowed to study in Bush, UWC, University of the Western Cape, but they were not allowed to go to other universities like University of Cape Town and Stellenbosch, which was the same as us black people.
Wait,
Hence,
colored people went to school, like university?
Yes.
Before.
So their designated institution was UWC, which all of us that were not white people were designated to different Bush institutions. Those who were in Limpopo were designated to Venda, Teflop. Those who were in Gauteng were designated to only TVET colleges and not institutes of higher learning. And it is the same thing that we say now, that the political parties that are trying to get into parliament through isolating colored people and calling them a different race, they are not genuine about the cause of colored people, because according to us, colored people are facing the same mischief as us. Unemployment, gangsterism, lack of special land. So there is no difference between us and colored people, and we should never allow white people to discriminate between us and colored people. Colored people are black people, like all of us, and they should unite with all of us in the fight to regain their dignity, in the fight to regain their land in the Western Cape and in the Northern Cape, in the fight to regain as well their statue and cultural footprint in the country, because we understand as well that colored people, based on the spatial developments that were created by apartheid government, have developed a certain culture that is different from other nations within South Africa, like the Ngunis and the other nations. So therefore we respect as well, let me not shy away from that, we respect the individual development and cultural enrichment that the colored people or the colored community have managed to amass on their own, which includes their language, which includes their way of lifestyle, and it is something that we should embrace as part of a black culture as a whole.
Okay.
Why do you think they chose you to be a leader of your organization or whatever you push them?
Well,
a guy is well spoken. Speaks. Yeah. Why did he choose you?
Well, I think you, Ghost, also we are well spoken, and Jade and Spoo
Yes.
and the guys on the floor. But before you are chosen, it has to be something from you personally. You must decide to be an activist. You must decide to be vocal about injustices around you. And as time goes, you grow within that activism. If you are involved with a certain party, you grow within that certain organization, understanding its cultures, its policies, and its goals, or rather manifestation points. And it would be an easy ride.
I have a question. Will there ever be a female president in South Africa? Because I want to be one.
No.
Why no? That's what you're woman in power.
You guys have too much power. Well, you know, the question you're asking is.
I want to be the president since EFF is in the building.
As the EFF would believe that South Africa was denied of the first female president when the misogynist like Thabo Mbeki decided to suppress Mama Winnie Mandela.
Oh shit!
And
wait, whoa! What? Whoa! You guys are not listening. Whoa! You guys are not listening.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And this is important. Maybe
Wait, what?
you never picked it up.
Yes, sir.
So the leader and commander-in-chief of the EFF, since his young age, even when Nelson Mandela was still alive, he was never ashamed to pronounce Comrade Winnie Mandela Nomzamo Madikizela as our president. And to this day, to us as children of Winnie Mandela, we recognize her as honorary president of this country.
Correct.
Therefore, it is not an impossible thing for South Africa to be led by a woman.
Correct.
It is only the misogynistic men that think women cannot lead. They are dangerous to us because women can be very good in leadership, as Mama Winnie has shown us. There has never been a brave leader throughout the struggle of apartheid like Winnie Mandela.
Correct.
She stood for the names of revolutionaries who were in prison, and she was never afraid to take her kids, to take her community, and to even sacrifice her comfort to push for our freedom. Therefore, we must never think that the freedom of this country was fought by men alone. It is a lie.
Men don't have brains.
You know, one thing, even when we watch movies and stuff, like from the movies about Mandela and Nan, one thing they always trying to hide and stuff, it's like, remember, I'm not saying Mr. Mandela and Nabazanga, let's be honest, they did fight on their own time. But in that 27 years, they were in prison, they couldn't do anything. Who was pushing the struggle? All those riots, all those strikes that were happening out there, who was leader? Remember, even let's go back to Mr. Malema. Mr. Malema was groomed I wouldn't say but I was groomed and taken care of by Winnie Matigizet. All of them, many of them, Baba Ning, Bese Upega Namanje, look at before Max of Hotel Ramapos, ANC. Do you know what you got you first guys? She was supposed to be the vice president, do you know that?
But would you vote for Nkosazana to be the president?
Not saying what for me, personally, when I say I'll never vote for ANC. That's why I'm going to vote. Right. But saying when as when you are campaigning as a party, you don't only campaign to males, but you campaign to a country. And that's why what do we call a country? That's why we're calling our motherland. It all comes from the mother. That's why we So every time Max of campaigner, it's usually like stigma so fast. It's how we're taught and it's wrong. Because whatever women are doing, you take it maybe when it's Women's Day, but they've been doing a lot for us as a country to a point of we don't recognize them, I think, enough. Because remember,
you don't give us our flowers.
Yeah, they deserve more than what you're doing to them currently. Because remember, with everything, even our presidents now, whoever they ask about it, if you're a man, now we are standing. Behind you, there's always a strong woman.
Yeah, that's true.
Before you make it,
that's true.
Yeah. So I think regarding us having a female president, I'll be honest, not now. I'll be honest, if we can look at the facts, not now. But you eventually will need one, to be honest, not now. Because remember, it takes time for people to understand and it takes time for people to learn. Starting with female ministers, it's a start. Female deputy president, it's a start. From there you understand, because remember, sometimes people and by seeing the outcome that comes from women, that's when they'll say, hey, let's do this. It's like with the stigma that people had via EFF, because of how Malema was painted to us, mostly as youth. Because remember, whenever you're trying to shut down a party, they will make you. It's similar with what's happening in North Korea. The way North Korea is represented to us, people that are coming from there won't tell you the same thing that the things we hear from the news. It's what they do to us. Like they paint you in a way that you become an enemy to us before we even meet you. So it's like that even with women.
Like they say you're in South Africa, like people from America say we poor, you're in South Africa.
Right.
We don't have water.
Jay, let's do our campaign, Our campaign. Please tell Mangaliso about the CC podcast. What is CC podcast? Because they don't know what is this podcast.
Yeah, maybe we hustle.
Maybe we hustle. Funding is coming, Funding.
One day I say CC podcast featured EFF
CC podcast, everything for free.
I think the guys forget to mention it. This might be a podcast happening inside Damelin, but it's mainly, how will I put it? But it's owned by students. Students contribute. It's our time, their money, they are spending. Some of them don't even go to classes just to push this, to make those voices from other students.
They come here, sit and watch, support.
And the main aim or the main point for this podcast was to be heard.
Please explain, Jade. What is CC Podcast?
CC Podcast is a platform for students or every person who wants to share their honest opinion about life, because you go to some podcast where you are not able to speak about how you truly feel because you'll be judged and criticized about it. So here we provide a platform to you for you to speak your mind. Say your say without getting judged.
Mostly students.
Not mostly students, but it's basically a platform for the youth, because the youth feels unheard, unseen. No one really recognizes us. So as a youth, we decided to come together and make change happen for ourselves through this platform, because as we know, the internet is the biggest message out there. So yeah.
So Mangaliso, what do you think of the CC podcast?
How can EFF
No, I think it is a great platform for young people and students, and the most important part of it, I think, is the ownership, that it is owned by students, it is owned and ran by young people. At the same time, it is not pushing a certain agenda that is funded or sponsored behind your backs. And also, it's refreshing to have an engagement where there is a floor as well, where there's physical presence of young people and they are able to contribute from the floor as well. It's very rare to get that from a podcast, so I think it's refreshing. It's a platform that we came into not knowing it, but we respected the fact that it's run by our peers. It's run by independent thinkers as well, where you are able to speak your mind and to, you know, express yourself. Of course, when it comes to funding, when it comes to funding, I'll have to also ask my colleagues as to how we can assist to push, especially during these times whereby we are faced by the anxiety of whether you are still in here or not. Who knows, maybe tomorrow you might find that we are closed out of the studio or the premises as a whole. So maybe we can be able, the EFF, if you check the EFF at our headquarters that are named after President Winnie Mandela, there is a state-of-the-art studio that is EFF owned, and they give also similar platform to young people and to influential figures in the country. Right. But not only do they give to speakers, they also give the platform to people who work behind the scenes, your producers, your sound executives. So I think we should continue the relationship, and who knows where we might end up together.
So we're taking 3 questions and then we're out.
Okay, so this is for Damelin students. So as you were saying that like we're already in deep waters, so and you were saying like the only thing that could save the school is the government, right? So do you think as the school, as the students, we should protest for the government to see us or to hear our cries?
Yeah, she would like that.
Do you think we should do that? And
it's not.
It's not.
South Africa only listens when there's violence and chaos.
But yeah, to be honest, it's like you're right or wrong, to be honest. And remember, you cannot say you think we can do that for the government to hear our cries. They caused this, they know what's happening, honestly. So I think it's right to protest, to make them see what they have done, notice them, the harm that they have done, but not that they don't know what's happening.
You want to protest?
That's
the whole president.
So I'll sit here and be honest. You can send an email now to the government. Remember, guys, there's an email address that has been given to the.
That's your response. You must send emails.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm telling you about the emails. There's emails that you can send.
Guys, I said 3 and then.
Okay, take your questions.
Maureen, pass the mic.
Questions.
Okay, so very similar to what you were saying, but not close, not in any way close.
Ask your questions.
In terms of stop. She said she wants to protest. I don't want to protest, but I agree with her. If it leads to that, I'm okay with it, because what has happened here, and the reason why I said I thought I was gonna fight with you, but I'm not gonna fight with you, right? Because I personally believe that Damelin, as much as they have caused this, they are not the problem. The government was actually the one that was supposed to communicate with us 2 years prior when this started happening. If we had known that this was happening 2 years ago, we would have not registered here. What's one?
Yeah.
Some people have registered this year. I'm a second year student. I'm finishing next year. But what about the ones that registered for first year now and then finishing 2 years time? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my point. So as much as she wants to protest, if she comes up with a protest and there's numbers, I'm casual.
Alright, let's move on. Last question.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm sure Jane was saying a joke right there about like protesting and stuff, but like I don't think we should protest because and that's not where the battle's gonna be won. You understand? It's through like talking to each other and understanding each other.
They don't understand nice things. They don't understand patience. They don't understand nice things. Don't violence.
They don't respect.
Alright, let's bring it back to
KB, don't do that.
Let's bring
You
it
asked us
back.
about 3 questions. You haven't even answered even one of those questions. There was 3 questions asked. You haven't answered
We
one.
said ask your questions, then your answers will be given. Confusing.
Guys,
Does anyone else has a question?
Sorry.
nah, that's it. Touch perhaps it close.
Okay, so I think the question, the first question about what is the way forward, or rather should we go for the route of protesting? We are young people and we are energetic. We, as the EFF, I think you have noticed, it's not the first time we're here, ever since the announcement by the Minister of Education. And we came here, first time we came here, our approach, if you remember very well, was to say that fair enough, Blake Nzimande has spoken on TV. Now let's hear from the side, firstly, of the students, and then the side of the management of both Damelin and EDUCO, right? Now we got the mandate from the meeting of the students. The first thing we got was that there's a lot of underlying issues, worse than what Blake Nzimande highlighted. What Blake Nzimande highlighted took us then to a question of the quality of the education on the campuses, the state of the lectures on the campuses, and also it led us to also question the state of the finances of the institution. I think twice or more than twice already, electricity has been shut down by the city of Johannesburg, City Power, here at the institution. Now that's not even a matter of education. Now that's a matter of administration. Is electricity being paid for by Damelin? It doesn't look like electricity is being paid for. Are lectures being paid by Damelin? It doesn't look like lectures are being paid. Are students getting the quality education compared to what they pay? And the question from the floor or from the student was that no, it's not the case. Now then, we leave Blake Nzimande, we come back to the management. We say the management must account on the internal issues of Damelin, which are not also to be brushed off because these students are the primary clients they're paying.
Correct.
Now, the management says, no, what is being raised here, will fix it. As soon as you come back tomorrow, you will see it will be fixed. And we left it there, right? We go again, we're like, okay, since it's not Damelin alone, because we see Damelin has not released any statement to clarify issues. It's EDUCO, that's the umbrella or the mother of all the institutions. We did our own research with City Varsity, with Luciam. We have even amongst the EFF, we have members who are studying in those colleges. We have leadership that is studying. Like I said earlier, the leadership of the EFF has pushed all of us to go back to school. So we also have leadership that came and said, hey, I'm studying there, what's gonna happen? Then we did our own small research. Then we find that it seems as if though the issue of financial relapse in the institution is dating from at least 3 years back. Now the question we ask, is the institution capacitated enough to sustain the service they're providing to you as students? And we arrive at a conclusion that not at this moment. Hence then we go back to saying, how can then the academics and the institution be saved by government? Because government is the only department that can have the powers to adopt the institutions and sustain them through skills levy, through National Skills Fund, to make sure that they continue running up until maybe the qualifications of certain students are completed. Now, it's in 2 ways. If we protest to government because government is the one that has led us to here now. But at the same time, Damelin and EDUCO are not saints in this matter. And since Damelin and EDUCO are our immediate service providers, we should be able to give them an ultimatum. It is wrong for them to rush to say that if you want to register, we can assist you. It is wrong for them to say that no, wait for 14 days, we are still waiting for communication from the top. They should communicate thoroughly now about the state of things. And if they are not being honest, obviously they will be the first bridge we burn before going to government.